Good morning, it is cruise day. We've grabbed ourselves a McDonald's and now we're on our way to the ship.
About to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know.
So we have just spotted, I just
when I come up
a
on
Welsh
the main
flag
road
outside
here,
there.
you've got to go turn right.
West,
Is it?
We are nearly arriving. There are quite a few ships in today.
Yeah, if she's on the
Oh,
princess.
they're not even like asking me. Not too big.
There she is!
There they go. Oh, that's Iona.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There she
Now
blows.
I'm excited now.
That's Lorna.
Ocean
Here
Lane
we are.
4.
That's a car park.
Parking. Lane 4 parking. CPS.
Oh, she's huge!
CPS,
Yeah, there you are. CPS parking.
Lane 4.
I think we've got meet and greet. Have we got meet and greet? Yeah.
Hello.
It's reminded everyone of the COVID tests.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, okay.
We've got to stay in the car until we've been checked in.
3 minutes. Yeah.
And this is the point they're going to turn around to us and say, I'm so sorry, you need to board at your actual
No,
time.
you're so negative.
Let's find out whether... I'm not being negative. I'm not a negative Nancy. I'm normally a positive Polly.
88,
But
84.
it reminds Jeff of the COVID test we had to do
Ready for the
before.
best, guys?
And we weren't organised at all, and we were hoping that we could get it done there and then, but we had visions of the ship leaving without us.
It's
Anyways,
next day.
we're hoping we can get on the ship
Just in case we forget this. You know,
a little bit earlier, which we shouldn't do, but
That's
we
all
can't
right.
time it because we didn't know how long it was going to take us from Wales.
Come again.
Well, there we are. That is home for the next 7 days. It is our first time sailing with P&O, and we have sailed with other cruise lines. The first time we've ever experienced being kept outside, and even though we linked bookings, their time to board was earlier than ours. Well, we've made our way inside, but only because we were cheeky and used the toilet. Matt and Tess have already gone on ahead of us, and now we are waiting to board, but there's a holding pen outside. I've never experienced this before. I don't think it's a P&O thing, I think it's a port thing. So I'm going to find out more and let you know. What they did do was they called the times of boarding in order, which I think is a great idea. However, there were, I noticed, quite a few elderly people or people with mobility problems that were kept to wait outside, which wasn't great, especially when we got inside and saw this. Well, there we are. We've been queuing outside for 3 hours and there's all these lovely seats inside in the warm that we could have been waiting in. So far for our first cruise with P&O, things are not going too well. I think it's clear to see that it was getting to me after we had to wait outside for 3 hours, but we're okay to board and on we go.
First day of the cruise.
All got a bit much for someone. It is sail away time. Matt and Tess are making their way to us because we've lost them. And we're on deck 18. We have just left Southampton, ready to embark on our Norwegian Fjords journey. I was going to say tour. Oh my days, I am the only one here on this side. There's lots of people over there. But this is beautiful. Have a little look. And this is the view from the other side, where the sun is setting and probably why it's a little bit busier. So we decided to go to Pearl, which is one of the 4 main dining rooms that are included on the Iona. And we generally will go to the main dining rooms of an evening because we do like that restaurant experience. We generally don't go to the buffet unless it's at a lunchtime and we want to grab a snack. But even on this ship, because they've got so many other options, we tended to go to the quays a lot, which I will show you at some point. But this was our first evening meal. And then we went out for some entertainment afterwards. So there are lots of venues to choose where you want to spend your evening. This is walking through the Sky Dome, and there wasn't any entertainment as such this night, but other nights it was absolutely full. They had aerial artists, they had singers and dancers, and this was a guy we just found. He was a magician. They used to entertain the kids, or the adults in this case, just throughout the ship, throughout the day and the nights.
On that side, how many altogether?
6.
6. This is where it gets weird. You ready? If I take one off, How many's left?
5.
You're wrong, every one of you. But it's not your fault, it's because I cheat. I do it for a living, it's the best job in the world. What I should have told you at the start is what happens on one side happens on the other. Now that's not the brilliant bit. The brilliant bit is this.
Good morning, it is our first morning waking up here and I'm going to go upstairs. The clocks went forward by an hour last night, so we're going to go upstairs on deck. It is 7:30 now, but it's actually 6:30 our time, but obviously we're going to Norway and I'm going to show you a little bit around top deck. Today is a sea day and what I like to do is, well, with Jeff's help, I like to get up early. He knows I like to get up early. Even though sometimes I don't want to get up early, I generally will give in. We'll have a little wander around on the top deck. I'll do some footage recording. I'm going to link my video here of the ship tour if you haven't seen it. And then we just go and grab some lovely breakfast. What we tend to do after that is find out what's going on, whether there's any quiz or in this case, line dancing. And we join in. It's actually so much fun and it just gets you involved and lets you know what's going on a bit around the ship.
Straight line. Heel, turn, step, hip,
Smile for the camera, Tess.
Heel, turn.
And after a very energetic line dancing class, we have come to the quays. It's got hook, line and vinegar, which is fish and chips. It's got fusion, which is Asian cuisine, and boardwalk diner, which is an American grill.
Here's to the good days.
I opted for some prawns with noodles and then went to have a relax before getting ready for celebration night tonight. Well, this is me in my little vintage dress. I've also got the viral TikTok bodysuit on, which I do feel like pulls me in a little bit. And now I'm going to go for my dinner. Hang on. So I actually put a bit of makeup on. I've done my hair a little bit. I actually feel quite nice. And now we're going to go for some food. I think we're having some photos done first and I will probably catch up with you a little bit later. Dinner with a view. All did not go according to plan with our meal, so we've come to the glass house for some dessert. Then onto the Sky Dome where they had a lovely laser show and a band singing. Now, obviously I can't play you any of their music due to copyright, but I'm going to play you some lovely music from Epidemic Sound.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go.
Where are we going? The end of the night and this happens. So the pizza's arrived, but listen to that noise. Guess what that is? I told you not to order it. Well, good morning. We have just arrived in our first port of call, which is Norway, or Norway, it's Stavanger, which we think is pronounced Stavanger. And we are very close to the town centre, which means that we could just dock and then walk into town. And the builders, I don't think I've ever seen. I have seen. So the ship is just turning now. It's not as cold as we expected because on the way here it was very cold. And I'm going to get you a bit closer to the front of the ship. Weather-wise, it wasn't too bad. It was kind of the same as what it was back home, but it did freak me out a little bit when I saw people walking around the deck with bobble hats and gloves on. The only reason for that is because I obviously am not very prepared and didn't come with my hat and gloves, so I only had a little raincoat. You've just seen the infinity pool, which I am determined to have a little go in before we do leave the ship. So the plan now is wait for Matt and Tess to get here, get some breakfast and then go out and explore the city that we've docked in. But first, obviously, a nice hearty breakfast to see us through for the next couple of hours. So this is actually the first time that I've seen houses dead opposite the ship docking, and I was absolutely amazed by it all. Well, we've actually never been so close to houses when we've docked before. Tess is having fun on a scooter. The ship is docked literally right in town. There we go, there's the ship, there's the gangway. And these are just, imagine living here. Imagine living here and then seeing these massive ships coming in. I don't know whether you'd like it or whether you'd loathe it. I'd like it, but people that live here might not like it at all.
Calling you up at 2 in the morning, but you don't want to talk, you don't want to bother. Yeah, so I took another shot, let my brain do the walking. I don't wanna be a friend, I want something real. Maybe if I stay the night, you could feel the same. And maybe if you treat me right, we could rearrange. But I'm not even gonna try if you don't wanna stay. So how's it gonna be? You got me on my knees. I don't need no roses on my bed. If I could pull you closer to me, babe, ain't nobody touch me like you can.
Well, we have arrived, as you can see, there is the ship behind me. We've arrived in Norway. Everyone else is in the Tourist Information Office, which is just around the corner, literally around the corner, down the street from where we are docked. They've gone to see if we can get some city hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tickets, yeah, so we can just hop on and hop off. There was a catamaran that was doing tours and things, and there's loads of options. You can do it with the ship, you can do it, obviously it's better if you wanted to ensure that the ship doesn't leave without you, but it is costly. So we've decided we're just going to get on a bus or just walk around. The weather is gorgeous. I've forgotten my sunglasses. I've got my little rain jacket in case it does rain, and I'm going to catch up with you a little bit later on. So this is where we are docked, which is literally, it's just a tiny port right in the centre of the town. Won't be long, and I can imagine something like this happening. Can you imagine something like this happening in Cardiff? I'll wait for that day. So the hop on, hop up, hop on, hop off, we've just been told is £100 each. Decided we weren't going to do it, and then actually found out it was only 32. So we're thinking that we might do a hop on, hop off, and also go and see some daggers. But this is amazing. There's like markets and stuff up ahead. I'm going to turn you around and show you. Oh, there we are, and just on time as well. There's a hop on, hop off bus and a Burger King. We're not going to do either of them, but maybe the hop on, hop off this afternoon because it's not as expensive as we thought. And just for an idea, there's the ship, and this is where I am right now. So we've just walked around the corner, and there's the market, there's Burger King, and there's my friend and my husband. They left without me. I'm going to go catch them up, and I will show you whatever it is we do decide to do a little bit later on. But I can't go to Norway and not show you any Norwegian gnomes, which are the thing of legends, apparently, and luck. So there you go, there's the cruise ship. I nearly got knocked over by a lorry. They've gone to get taxi prices. There's a park just behind me. We're going to find out whether it's going to be cheaper to get in a taxi for the four of us, or whether we need to individually pay, because you've got to be frugal even when you're on your holidays. Well, we have anyway. And we're going to try and get some money out using, I've got my Chase card, so I'm going to try and find out if there's any ATMs anywhere we can get some cash out, go on the bus or go in the taxi, and obviously we will bring you along with me. We've got a lovely lake, and we are trying to work out how we get to see some daggers that Matt really wants to see by either taxi or bus. We're having a bit of a nightmare because we don't really know how things work. Everyone's hungover except for me, but we're going to keep trying, and I still can't find an ATM. Nice bird.
Good thing is,
So the bus
I
it
know,
is.
wait.
24-hour ticket, £6.50. We are sorted for the day and on our way to see the daggers. Obviously, by the power of editing, it makes it look so easy. It was an absolute nightmare. We had bus drivers shouting at us because we didn't know what we were doing or where we needed to go or when we needed to go. It was absolute carnage. But we found our way in the end. And we got on a bus. We found our way to the daggers, which is where I am going to take you next. So I just had a bit of background from Matt, and apparently these three swords, Harold, not these particular ones, but in general, lay a dagger down, and in honour of the other two kings, he put another two swords. So there we are, that is the significance. Two of them surrendered and let the one king rule. And the water is lovely and clear. You right, Jeff?
Yeah.
Hapus?
Hapus iawn.
Good. Well, obviously I'm home now and I can Google. So these three swords represent peace, unity and freedom. And they are set in the most beautiful setting. Just looking out over the sea, it is absolutely gorgeous. And Matt was absolutely right. It was a battle fought by King Harold, which united the whole of Norway as one kingdom again. If you are going to Norway, I would highly recommend doing this. We didn't do it through the ship, we did it ourselves. We walked over to the bus station. We ended up just buying a one-day ticket and finding our own way there, which was really quite easy in the end. Don't fall in! Tess, be careful! So we come to the swords, and there Tess is on the stepping stones having a photo shoot. Got to take every opportunity when it arises, I suppose. On our way back to the ship, and we meet a couple that are from 5 minutes down the road from where Matt and Tess live. I mean, there were lots of Welsh people on board, so it wasn't that uncommon, I suppose. And at this point we were just looking at all the pretty little streets. We were kind of winging it because we didn't have Google Maps on, and we were looking at all the shops with all the lovely food and deciding whether we wanted to stop and try any of it. We were actually looking for a toilet, and a bit of advice: if you are wanting to go to the toilet while you're in the port of Stavanger, I would highly recommend you to take some money with you. Happy, Tess? Well, we're not going anywhere else today. We've wandered around. We were going to go to the Iron Age farm, but it's not open on the weekdays, it's only open on weekends. So we've walked through the town centre. We were going to stop and find somewhere to try some local foods, but there's all coffee shops and there doesn't seem to be anywhere that we can actually eat at the moment. So I know what's going to happen. We're going to end up being so close to the ship, we'll just be like, we'll just go on the ship and have our dinner. There we are, so we literally are right there next to the ship. So it will probably be an onboard kind of meal, will it? Or are we going to keep on wandering? What do you want to do? There we are, so we've just kind of decided that because we've got other stops in Norway, hopefully there'll be something we can try in any of those ports. But for now, we are going to make our way back to the ship, get back on board, have something to eat and something to drink. But let me show you. I've probably showed you a little bit anyway, but the side streets, it's really pretty, really lovely. And look behind me, in front of me even, here. And there's the ship in the background. But yeah, it's lovely. And do you know what? I've never ever, when I've been on a cruise, I've never docked so close to a town centre or a city centre or wherever this is. I think it's a city. So this is a first for us. And I never ever would have expected a massive ship to be able to dock so close to something, but it has, and we did. And what I have to tell you is we actually found our way around from the bus without even using Google Maps, all by ourselves. and we're on the wrong side of the water for the ship, so I was just bragging about nothing really, but the positioning of us here on the opposite side, I've got a lovely angle for the ship. Hang on, let me show you. So there you go, in all her glory, there she blows. She is enormous, over 5,000 passengers. And there we are, that is her in the port of, we think it's pronounced Stavanger, but we are not entirely sure. There you go. Can I get her all in one frame? Not quite, but there you go. So we are now going to make our way back on board, not by swimming across there. We need to get over there somehow. And I think they might have left me, and now I need to find them. And I will catch up with you again later. But first, I'm going to do a lovely panoramic video of the whole area of where I am. Just because I find it so fascinating that we are so close to everything. But you know what? Literally, I've just thought that in lots of other ports we've been a tiny walk away as well, so I don't know why I was so surprised at this. But there we are. That is a whole 360 of the port. Knock yourself out, Matthew Biggs.
Have you got vinegar?
It is Sean the sheep.
Well,
No turning, just sailing.
it's not doing it
That's what I said, no turning, just sailing.
because we done not doing it.
Yeah. After a lovely meal in the quays of fish and chips and an unexpected visit from Sean the sheep, we're up on top deck watching the lovely sail away. So before we came and before we googled, Jeff and I didn't know that those little pieces of land in the sea are the fjords. I thought they were all big waterfally things. Now, I don't know why we were absolutely fascinated leaving this port, watching the seagulls flying right next to the ship, just gliding along. They weren't even flapping their wings. This little boat here is the boat that comes to collect the pilot to take them off the ship when we reach a certain distance from the port. So clever.
So elegant as well, isn't it?
After sitting watching the birds for a really long time, but it only felt like about 5 minutes, off we went to get ready for our lovely evening meal in Pearl, the restaurant. But I didn't show the view that I've got. After our lovely meal, we head to the Sky Dome where we watched the house band Pulse. They were absolutely brilliant. We caught them here and in the clubhouse. If you get a chance, go watch them. They are brilliant. That brings us to the end of part 1. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see the rest of them. And I will see you in the next one.